Well, for more on digital emotion and the surrounding economy, I'm joined by Ken Wisnefski. He's the founder and CEO of WebiMax. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Ken, how did these stickers and emojis become so popular in the first place?
Again, while they were kind of created in the late 90s, a lot of this really came to play when Apple introduced them on the iPhone in around 2011, and people started to really utilize them extensively as a way to kind of express emotions and illustrate what their feelings were.
Now, it does seem that it's taken off more in popularity in some countries than others, for example, in China. So why is it specifically about the Chinese market as opposed to the rest of the world that hasn't adopted it as quickly?
I think that there's just different cultures that really enjoy utilizing somewhat of symbolism in their communication, but definitely anytime it's any type of digital transfer of information, one thing that we're seeing is a big push towards shorter and shorter communication, and the ability to really express emotion or feelings by utilizing this is something that we're seeing kind of globally be something that's taking place.
And as you mentioned, we're seeing a lot of these companies, you have Twitter, Snapchat, really focusing on quick communication. And then once you add emojis and stickers into the mix, how has all this changed the way that people communicate?
It's really changed. I think that we're starting to see a lot more communication really be a lot quicker and a lot shorter. And one of the things that's really interesting about the utilization of emojis is a text or a message doesn't really have the ability to really express any type of real feeling. So people are always confused by, well, what did that text mean? By adding an emoji or working specifically with the sticker and emoji, people can really understand the sentiment of that message. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why it's gained so much popularity.
Now, sometimes cultural differences can be a concern. Some images and gestures may have different meanings depending on where you're from. And now a company in London is even hiring emoji translators. How do you think all this perhaps concern over how we communicate could impact the growth of the market?
Yeah, it's actually very interesting that all of a sudden a lot of communication is really being made exclusively by emojis and stickers, and now it's to the point that there's actually detail of translators having to go through and look at detailed information to be able to take things exclusively through emojis. So I think that we're finding that the trend is really something that is becoming a lot more mainstream and something we're only going to see a lot more of.
Now, as people are thinking of jobs of the future, it was probably hard, say, 5-10 years ago to imagine emoji translator being a job. And then you also heard our reporter talking about making money in licensing with these stickers and emojis. So tell us more about the business opportunities that these stickers have created.
Sure. I mean, you've seen quite a bit of interest even from the celebrity side. Kim Kardashian famously has gotten involved in that marketplace, and even people like Charlie Sheen are getting involved in it, and basketball stars like Steph Curry. So there's a lot of opportunity for people to be able to utilize that and utilize images and brands that are already out there to basically be something that reflects their personality, what they're ultimately interested in. And I think it's kind of a piece of what ultimately drives a lot of the actual communication nowadays is the ability to identify with some of the things that they're using as their stickers or emojis.
Now, how much money is this actually worth? Say you're a celebrity and you decide to try and really kind of cover this emoji as part of your strategy. How valuable is all this?
I think that a lot of brands that have really loyal followings, it's extremely valuable, and it's relatively simplistic for them to really be able to go and build this. So the ultimate cost of entry is very low, and then the actual return on it can be very high. So it's one of those scenarios where brands are just really leveraging their existing popularity and then trying to find additional ways that they can drive revenue. But again, I think it's an area that we're going to continue to see grow a lot more, and a lot more focus is being paid attention to it as far as different brands getting involved, and even companies that are looking to really expand upon this by adding more and more stickers and emojis all the time to utilize them almost as a marketplace for them to really be able to scale and grow just the amount of available emojis that are out there.
And let's expand on how companies are really including stickers as part of their strategy. Tell us about Line's business strategy, as stickers are really a favorite feature for some of its users.
Absolutely. Line was really kind of the predominant and ultimately really the first one that really focused on this. So the utilization of it and the expansion into the licensing and the utilization of where they're actually turning emojis and stickers into products is really something that's really expanded their brand and their operation. And again, I think that's been a good scenario for them to really take one line, ultimately line of business, and turn it into other areas that are ultimately becoming much more profitable for them.
We'll see which other companies take note. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much to Ken Wisnefski, founder and CEO of WebiMax.